is in a cell block with some of the worst lowlifes you can think of. Thieves, dealers, killers. The only lesson he's learning is how to survive by any means necessary. Hey, you want to help him turn his life around? Why don't you get him out of there, put him back in school, surround him with people who can teach him to do something other than watch his back?
People like his father? Sonny Corinthos lived like he was above the law for years. His children were taught the rules don't apply. My job, detective, is to clear up that misconception.
Michael shouldn't be held responsible for the mistakes the adults in his life are making.
Michael is paying for taking a woman's life.
Yeah, a woman who kidnapped his mother at gunpoint and almost ran off with his baby sister.
I'm aware of the circumstances, detective. That's why Michael was charged with involuntary manslaughter and not murder.
Your Honor, I don't think you're thinking
I assure you that I never hand down a sentence without thinking long and hard about whether the punishment fits the crime. Your brother's case was no exception. Michael confessed to killing Claudia. I gave him 5 years with parole after 2. Now, in my book, that is the very definition of lenient.
Your Honor, I'm trying to...
My decision stands, detective.
It's Dante again.
Lulu. I want to make sure I know how bad Dante feels about how everything's played out.
You know it's not your job to make Dante and Lulu feel better for what they did, right?
Yeah. Lulu's worried about what will happen if Dante keeps pushing to get me released. She's afraid he might cross the line and lose his badge, or get fed up and leave the force. I mean, hell, either way, Dad's happy. Dante's not a cop anymore. He can take over the organization. We both get cut out.
Get your hands off my daughter.
Johnny doesn't take orders from you. Neither do I.
Christina, I don't know what lies Johnny's feeding you now, but this is not right.
Well, I'm the liar. That's Rich, Sonny. After all the whitewashing of the truth that you've done, well, that's over now. The truth's out. Christina sees you for the selfish, abusive bastard that you are.
You're taking this way too far. Let go of my daughter's hand. Now.
This is an 18-year-old kid we're talking about here. A good kid who will be turned into a hardened criminal by the time he gets out. Please, I mean, Your Honor, Michael has already lost a year of his life because of Sonny and Claudia's power struggle. Her death should not cost him 2 more.
And if Michael had come forth and confessed the night it happened, things would be different.
Hey, you act like he had a choice.
There's always a choice, detective.
Not when you're Sonny Corinthos' kid. By the time Michael had realized what he'd done, the cover-up was already set in place. Jason and Sonny swooped in, got rid of the evidence, made sure everyone had their stories straight. Okay, that's just a day at the office for those 2 guys, but not for Michael. What happened at the cabin that night weighed on him for months.
Therein lies the problem. Months passed, and Michael remained silent. His one half-hearted attempt at confession was not sufficient proof of his remorse.
Because Sonny was pressuring him to keep the secret. I can tell you from personal experience, that man is very difficult to refuse. I was working undercover. My job was to take Sonny down. And I can tell you, the longer I was on the job, the harder it got to tell the difference between Sonny, the cold-blooded killer, and Sonny, the good father. And I'm an experienced cop. We're talking about a kid, his teenage son, who just wants to make his father happy.
Now, perhaps now you can see why I thought it necessary to remove Michael from under Sonny's influence.
And like Sonny, Michael has a conscience. Despite what everyone in his life was telling him to do, which was to keep his mouth shut, he wanted to take responsibility for his actions, which he did.
After you forced his hand.
You need to understand the strength it took for Michael to go up against Sonny. A man he grew up idolizing, and tell the truth at all. Michael did the right thing. I'm asking you to do the same thing and show him a little compassion.
Maybe Lulu's right to worry. I mean, Dante did go to jail for trying to get Morgan off the witness stand at Dad's trial. Who knows how far he'll go to get me released? Even if it's only to clear his conscience.
Look, I'm all for Dante using any pull he has to get you out of here. Do not mistake his guilt for loyalty. Because when it comes down to helping you or his badge, he's going to make the same decision every single time. Nothing is more important to him than being a cop.
Yeah, but Dante lied in court about how he got shot. He swore under oath that the gun went off by accident, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if he cares about being a cop so much, why would he risk his job to protect Dad?
Because I think he was actually protecting the case he built against Sonny for killing Claudia. Now, see, your dad may want to believe it was something more, that some switch flipped in Dante when he heard that Sonny was his father. But if anything, I think it actually made Dante want to prove the opposite, that the badge that he carries makes him a better man than Sonny.
Yeah, whether Dante's a cop or not, Dad will still want him in his life.
You're right about that. Family is very important to your father. All the lies, all the betrayal, Dante, it doesn't matter, because once Sonny found out that Dante was his son, he loved him.
Yeah, Dad always trusted Dante more than he ever trusted me. At least with the business. And he was grooming Dante to take over, Jason. A guy he's only known for 3 months. I didn't get it before, but I get it now. I mean, even then, Dad had this connection to Dante.
You know your father loves you.
Yeah.
I mean, you're as much his son as Dante and Morgan, Michael.
I see what the difference is. His dad sees Dante as a man. To him, I am just a kid who he needs to protect.
You gonna come at me through my daughter, exploiting her fears by making me look like some kind of monster? Putting your hands all over? That goes way beyond disrespect.
Johnny's not doing anything wrong.
Johnny, do me a favor. Let go of that hand.
Okay, well, it is a public street, Sonny, so I can hold her hand if I want. Hell, I can do a lot more than that.
She's 17.
Which is the legal age of consent in the state of New York. However far we take this does not concern you.
Car's out there, okay? Just wait for me.
I'm not leaving.
Yeah, and I
Johnny.
want you to go in the car right now.
No. I'm sick and tired of you trying to run my life. Why can't you just let me be happy?
With him?
At least I know Johnny would never hurt me.
Johnny is using you, sweetheart. He wants me to suffer. He could care less if he hurts you. You think that's a decent guy? You should be you deserve somebody better. Let me take you home, please.
You know, I do all right.
Oh, is that why you're ripping off the Quartermains?
Well, see, I bought this place with profits from a big win, right? And I sunk pretty much every dime into it. I was hoping my luck would hold, but I wanted a little insurance, you know?
Here's a thought. Don't live above your means.
Oh, come on. Where's the fun in that? I mean, we get one shot at this life, right? Why not make it as sweet as possible? You want some wine?
Got any red?
I'll go check.
Something wrong with that bottle?
Sonny's a compelling force. For Michael to go up against him like that took guts. I know grown men who wouldn't dare defy Sonny's wishes. Imagine how tough it was for his own son to go up against him in open court, no less.
The fact is that Michael committed a crime, several, if the continued cover-up is taken into consideration. He needs to learn there are consequences to his actions.
He just got the crap beat out of him by some sick freak who found his way into his cell. How's that for consequences?
I appreciate your outrage, Detective Falconeri, but I suggest you direct it somewhere else. I'm only trying to help Michael.
Yeah, by letting him rot. He's young, vulnerable, the kind of kid that prison will destroy. Where's the justice in that?
I never said it was a perfect system. Prison is full of sad stories and bad choices, but the law is the law.
The law's supposed to help people. Not inflict wounds so deep that they never have any chance of healing.
What would you have me do, Detective Falconeri? I've already pointed out how compelling Sonny Corinthos is. If I release him, he'll run back to his father in a life of crime. And where would be the justice in that?
I'm sure